It starts with a woman who simply disappears. No struggle reported, no witnesses, her phone still at home, her car untouched. As if she stepped out of her life and never returned. But this isn't a case of someone walking away. Something happened inside that quiet Calgary house. Something that would stay hidden beneath the frozen ground for months. Police searched, the family begged, and all the while, the one person who should have had answers stood calmly in front of the cameras, insisting he knew nothing. But he did. The truth wasn't found in a confession. It wasn't found in a note. It was found in the backyard, sealed in plastic, buried beneath the dirt, branches, and lies. This is the case of Shannon Burgess and the killer who thought he could keep her hidden forever. Music. Welcome to True Crime Stories. If you're new here, I'm your host, Ty Newts, and I post new true crime documentaries every single week. So if you want classic, genuine true crime without being read a bunch of fake stories by a robot, you've come to the right place because that's pretty much all we do here. And if that's your kind of thing, be sure to subscribe. It's totally free and just lets you know when I post new cases. Shannon Matt was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Ever since she was young, Shannon enjoyed the spotlight. She was born to entertain people. She was vibrant and very outgoing, and she was all smiles all the time. When she was a teen, Shannon attended Central Memorial High School, and she was active in music, drama, and other programs of that same line. On top of being an alumnus of the Calgary Stampede show bands by the time she was an adult, Shannon wanted to become a musician as well as a voice actress. Shannon was also very funny, and she loved making people laugh by doing animated voices and putting on acts. So realizing her knack, Shannon participated in multiple comedy, improv games, and film, stage, and voice acting gigs to not only make a living, but also do something that she loved as a job. Now, Shannon, being an aspiring voice actress, had to attend a lot of auditions. She would go to different cities, traveling for long hours to get to these auditions, but she loved everything regardless. But she often forgot things. She was the type of person who would set a reminder or an alarm for any meetings or catching up with family. Otherwise, things would just slip from her mind. And I think a lot of us can probably relate to that. The couple was happy, even though the two had very conflicting work schedules and barely saw each other at home. But Shannon would be out doing voice acting gigs and Joshua would be at work. But the couple were determined to make it work. They talked about anything and everything when they did get the time to see each other. They were genuinely happy. But neither of them could have anticipated what lay just around the corner. And their happy marriage was about to be shattered. Joshua and Shannon were very open and honest with each other about everything going on in their lives. Perhaps it was the distance, their jobs, or simply that craving for closeness. But the couple decided to pursue an open marriage. Basically, Joshua and Shannon wanted to take the relationship to the next level, or rather a different level, I guess, because they wanted to dabble in polygamy. So Shannon and Joshua both would stay still married, but they were free to date and be physically intimate with other people. I mean, to each their own, I guess. It was something that a lot of friends and family of the couple didn't even know about, but some very close people, especially Shannon's sister, did know about the arrangement. Now, this was weird for a couple of reasons. The most notable being Shannon and Joshua's haste to engage in an open marriage just a few weeks after their wedding. It just doesn't sit right when you hear it. And the fact that they kept it a secret from everyone except a few people, that's also strange. I mean, if this is your lifestyle of choice, I guess anyone can do whatever they want to do. But why get married just to immediately make that marriage open and then keep it a secret? That part doesn't make much sense. But on top of that, if this is your lifestyle and you're not ashamed of it, why go to such great lengths just to hide it from the people you love? If polygamy in your mind isn't anything to be ashamed of, why not pursue that in full force? Well, regardless of the strangeness, both Shannon and Joshua seemed happier than ever with this new agreement. Both of them engaged in extramarital affairs, but there was no guilt or hiding it whatsoever. Shannon and Joshua even met each other's partners from time to time. And to keep it short, things were going fairly well for them. Now, this arrangement started wonderfully. Ideal considering the results. There was no jealousy, no hard feelings, and both parties had their desires fulfilled both inside and outside their marriage. But sometime later, cracks started to form. It was actually Shannon who ultimately decided that they should end their open marriage. Shannon proposed that the two of them break up with their respective partners and keep the marriage monogamous. So that's what they did. Shannon was dating a man named Ian at the time, and she broke up with him, whereas Joshua was dating a woman whose name we don't know, but he also broke up with her. The two had closed their open relationship about a month before the events of today's case, and the couple were now exclusively involved with only each other. Well, that was until a week later when Shannon came across some text messages on Joshua's phone. It was from a woman that he was seeing during their open relationship, and Shannon was appalled that Joshua was still talking to this other woman, even though their marriage was now exclusive. Shannon felt betrayed by this, and rightfully so. They both supposedly admitted their mistakes, tried to right their wrongs, and get things back on track. But now Joshua was going behind her back, and at this point, having an affair, plain and simple. The texts were very flirtatious, as if they hadn't even broken up in the first place. The text also alluded to the fact that Joshua would soon divorce Shannon for this woman, and this was what completely floored Shannon. Now, even though the open relationship between Shannon and Joshua was mutual, Shannon still loved Joshua, and this was very likely why she asked to end the extramarital arrangements. She wanted Joshua in whole, not in part. So you can only imagine how hurt she must have been when she saw those text messages between a random woman and her own husband, and how the husband was going to divorce his wife for this other woman. Shannon didn't engage in any sort of infidelity following the decision to keep their marriage exclusive. So she was deeply hurt by this revelation. She was incredibly angry at Joshua for breaking her trust like that. Shannon decided right then and there she wasn't going to live with Joshua like this. She made plans to cut all ties with him, leave him, and move elsewhere. But this was easier said than done, and it was going to take time for her to find a new place to live. I'm assuming Shannon was busy with work and she rarely even saw Joshua to begin with. So maybe she just wanted to wait until she moved out or kicked him out. I'm not sure. But neither of them could have guessed that before Shannon would take that major step towards divorce, that she would come up missing. November 27th, 2014 was the fateful day. And in the early morning hours, Joshua arrived home and coincidentally, Shannon was there too. According to Joshua, when the couple got home, they got into a very heated argument. I'm assuming that Shannon finally confronted Joshua about his cheating and trying to divorce her and all of that for this other woman. The fighting lasted a while. It was verbal and heated, but it didn't really escalate. But something entirely different happened. After the two stopped fighting, they jumped into bed with each other. Joshua claimed that after the fighting died down, he asked Shannon if she wanted to have, quote, angry make-up intercourse with her. So this was completely out of left field, but weirdly enough, Shannon supposedly agreed. The story just keeps getting weirder and weirder. But there was one big problem with this arrangement. It was all a misunderstanding. See, Joshua says that Shannon thought that he had said breakup, not makeup, and that made her very angry. So when they were done and Joshua was expecting for things to just go back to normal, that wasn't what happened at all. Shannon was ready to pack up her bags and leave after their one final hurrah, so to speak. Soon after getting out of bed, she supposedly told Joshua that this would be the last time he would touch her and that she was disgusted by him. She told him that she never wanted to see him again and that she was done with him. Well, Joshua claimed that Shannon looked physically revolted when she touched him, and she repeatedly told him that she hated him. Shannon really let everything out. She claimed that she regretted ever marrying him, and that she didn't even need him anymore, and that she was disgusted and surprised by the fact that he would leave her, his wife, for this other woman. Well, this was the final straw for Joshua, apparently, because he suddenly saw red. He forgot all about letting his frustration out between the sheets, and all he wanted to do now was make Shannon stop talking. Well, soon enough, Shannon had said her piece, and she just left. Supposedly, she had to leave for Edmonton for a work gig. So at that moment, she just grabbed her things and headed off for her job. But she could have never guessed that once she walked out that door, she'd be walking right into the abyss. Because after that door latched, Shannon was never seen again. No one in Shannon's family knew what had happened to her. Shannon actually had plans to meet up with her brother Brett for dinner on November 30th at a local restaurant. The two had these plans for some time now, and they were finally going to catch up. Brett arrived at the restaurant and waited for minutes, then hours, but there was no sign of Shannon. Now, at that time, Brett didn't think too much of it because if you remember, Shannon's family knew that she had a habit of forgetting things. Brett genuinely thought that his sister had forgotten about the dinner, so he just went back home. He thought that maybe Shannon had a last-minute work-related errand to run or something. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, why didn't Brett call Shannon to remind her? Well, he did. Or rather, her dad did. Shannon's dad, David, texted Shannon about dinner with Brett, but again, Shannon didn't respond. Again, this was slightly weird, but not too much to make Shannon's family run straight for the police station. They knew Shannon. She was the one who had to be reminded at least 10 times just to go get dinner or go to a family gathering. Her work kept her very busy and in a constant loop, so her family didn't think much of it. But a day later, on December 1st, after her entire family blew up Shannon's phone and still got no response from her, Shannon's sister Erin decided to go to her house that she shared with Joshua. But she wasn't there either. Her car was parked out front, but Shannon was nowhere to be found. Erin then asked Joshua about Shannon's disappearance, and Joshua claimed that she'd gone to Edmonton for a work gig, but he hadn't seen her since she left. The problem was, she'd accidentally left her phone at home when she left, so neither Joshua nor Erin were able to get a hold of her. But this detail set off several alarm bells for Erin. Even though Shannon was a bit of a scatterbrain, she wouldn't leave for work without her phone. She wasn't going to work in the city, she was going to another place hundreds of miles away. She would have had her phone on her. Well, after trying to reach Shannon with no luck, her family finally reported her missing on the evening of December 1st, 2014. The police were alarmed, to say the least. Shannon was last seen 3 days ago, and still no one had heard from her, not even her husband. That crucial window of time was already up. If Shannon hadn't come back home, then where was she? Was she out blowing off steam? Was she in trouble? What had happened? Well, the police decided to look into the family first, and they went straight to Joshua because he was the last person to have seen her alive. According to Joshua, he'd come home in the early hours of November 27th. He claimed that he'd talked to Shannon for a bit before going to bed, and when he woke up, she was gone. He claimed he didn't worry about it too much, and he assumed that they'd just get reacquainted when she got back from her Edmonton gig. All in all, he was completely unfazed by her disappearance and lack of communication. Not once did he ever mention anything to the police about their fight or about her just flat walking out that night. Even when Joshua found Shannon's ringing phone in one of her jean pockets, he didn't bat an eye. He told the police the same thing he told Erin, that she must have just forgotten it when she left for the work gig. The police looked into Shannon's phone activities soon after, and they found out that she was at home in the early morning hours of November 27th, but after that, there was literally nothing. Shannon's bank account was also radio silent. But during the investigation, the police came across some very crucial information that immediately put them on high alert. It was Joshua's dating profile on several dating sites. What surprised the police even more was the fact that it was an active dating profile. According to what the police knew, Joshua was the loving and caring husband who was by now equally as worried for Shannon as everyone else. But now this detail stuck out like a sore thumb. Why does a husband whose wife is missing, mind you, have an active dating profile? Well, this was the key to the Pandora's box that was Shannon and Joshua's relationship. Their open relationship, to be exact. The police definitely did not know about this. They didn't know that Joshua and Shannon were seeing other people while married. So the police decided to bring in all of Shannon's beaux for an interview. They wanted to know if any of these men had something to do with Shannon's disappearance, but nothing came up. They were all ex-boyfriends who broke up amicably, the most recent one being Ian. And they all had airtight alibis. So no, this wasn't the case of a scorned lover getting back at Shannon. The police also looked into any possible stalkers too, though. Now, even though Shannon was not a superstar, hotshot voice actress who was booked all year round, she was still in that industry, and there was a chance that someone could be fixated on her, and maybe that went unnoticed until just now. But this all also led to a dead end. There was literally not a single ounce of a clue that could suggest that someone was bothering Shannon or messing with her. She was not being followed, and no one from her friend circle or close family knew anything about a stalker. But finally, something clicked for the police, and they were honestly surprised that they let it slip, because the person they locked their sights on was right in front of them from day one: Shannon's husband, Joshua Burgess. The police went to talk to Joshua again, but this time he had a hard time recalling the events of the night that Shannon was last seen. His memory was fuzzy, and he had a hard time dishing out the details. This was really weird for the police. In most cases, spouses, husbands in this case, try to cooperate with the police as much as they can. They remember every single detail, from the clothes their wives were wearing to what they had for dinner the night before. So Joshua conveniently not remembering anything was a red flag. Well, this prompted the police to get a search warrant for the house that Shannon lived in with Joshua. It was July 8th of 2015, and the police visited Joshua and presented the search warrant for his house, his phone, and his car. But Joshua wasn't letting the investigators in. He was locked inside the house, and the detectives were trying to convince Joshua to open the door to be let in. Within no time, detectives noticed a change in Joshua's tone. He was very hiccupy and emotional, and he finally confessed from behind the closed door that he murdered his wife. The police finally had their confession and their guy, but they needed Joshua to come out. So detectives kept Joshua busy from the other side of the door, asking multiple questions and trying to get Joshua out of the house. This went on for about 2 hours, and finally, after 2 hours, the front door opened, and it was a mad scene. Joshua was wearing only his underwear, and there was a wound on his neck.